Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the daily Manchester United podcast. My name is Niall Hannigan and I'm joined by Daniel Dada. Daniel, how are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm good yourself.
Good stuff. You're smiling, which is a bit of a change from the last time we were speaking. We got the victory over Leicester at the weekend. Happy with the performance, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'm happy we got the win, but I'm not happy with the performance.
Yeah. Seems to be the same old story. Even the games we win, it's just we don't even deserve them. So it's given me flashbacks to the Southampton game a couple of months ago, where definitely didn't deserve to get the victory, but old Harry Maguire pops up with an offside goal in the last minute to bring us the victory. So I suppose we can't complain too much.
Yeah, literally. I saw a stat the other day. Surprises, we won 6 out of our last 8 games. It generally doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
It generally feels like we've lost every single game because we just don't deserve to win any game that we do actually win. So
it's so true. It's so true. And then I was looking at some of them as well, or like they're in the Europa League, and you're like,
yeah,
you don't even count some of them because you don't even know the teams you're playing against. Like, and you're
yeah.
like, well, I'd hope to be getting 3 points in those games, but even the Rangers one, like you're thinking of that one, like that was absolute snatch and grab as well. Like, so yeah, it's been poor. But anyway, the draw was just made there. Just this evening, we're filming this or recording this on Monday night. We've got Fulham in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Immediate thoughts on that? Obviously, we played them quite recently, and we got the win, but also a bit of a awful deflected goal from Martinez. But yeah, what are you thinking going into that game?
It could have been worse. It could have been Brighton. Honestly, that's what I was thinking. It could have been Brighton. That was the one team I didn't want to see, Brighton or Crystal Palace, because those two teams, for some reason, we just don't know how to beat them. So luckily for us this season, we have found a way to beat Fulham twice. So it's not as bad. But even that game, the last game we played against Fulham, like you said, the deflection from Lisandro Martinez, it was a lucky deflection to the point that we were able to beat them. But if Man United, the players have any shame about them, they would actually go all out to try and win this trophy. So that's just how I see it.
Yeah, obviously last year was kind of similar circumstances. I mean, we thought last year was a bad season when we finished kind of 7th or 8th or whatever, and we were like, oh look, at least they kind of got a few performances together to actually win the FA Cup. But I mean, you mentioned hopefully they can get their act together to actually give this competition a go. But if we did finish 13th and an FA Cup, what are you thinking for this season? Like,
it's an awful season. We were saying it was a bad season last year, finishing 7th or 8th with the FA Cup. So now it's just that you're going back another 7 places, and it's an awful season. Even if you win a trophy, it's still awful. That there's no progression in the club. If anything, we're going backwards. I'm not seeing any progression in the club. I feel like for the season to be remotely decent, I'm not even going to say good. For it to be remotely decent, we have to win the FA Cup and the Europa League for it to be remotely decent.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had any issues winning cup competitions, even in this barren spell. But as Ollie said, look, a lot of managers would hide behind their trophies, and the league never lies, I suppose. And you want to be getting a run of performances in the Premier League, and that's what kind of shows true consistency and true kind of movement going forward of the club. And looking back on it, he's dead right, because I mean, winning cups with Ten Hag and Van Gaal and Mourinho, we still felt like the club wasn't moving forward that well. Like, so hopefully, anyway, we can get a bit of a run of performance and get through that next round against Fulham. But I was looking at the draw as well, and City got Plymouth, the Giant Killers. I actually would have been more concerned if we got Plymouth. Kind of glad we got a Premier League opposition here, so they're not off too much of a high facing Liverpool, because they'd be looking at United going,
yeah, we could definitely beat them.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So, did you watch that Liverpool game at the weekend? I suppose that was a nice win.
I was at my friend's game, so I didn't get to watch the game. So I was just monitoring the scores here and there. I saw they went 1-up, and I was thinking, Liverpool will come back and they'll probably win the game. And it's like, it's getting to the 75th minute now. It's still 1-0. 90th minute, I'm thinking, oh, they actually might do this here. and they won. I was very happy. I was like, yep, there goes Liverpool's treble. They're not winning no treble this season, so I was quite happy that they weren't able to win that game.
It's true, yeah. When you think a treble was on the cards, definitely. Like, I mean, they're flying
Yeah.
both in the Champions League, top in the group since the start, and then already kind of saving games in the Champions League. So, it's very sad, just seeing the draw in the Champions League, all the matches building up tomorrow and Wednesday. We are nowhere near it, like nowhere near it.
I mean, at least I get to watch football as a casual fan tomorrow and just enjoy the games. Man City, Real Madrid. I'm just gonna try and enjoy it as a casual. But
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just looking at the quality of players and stuff. I'm just like, no, we're just miles off it. I mean, I saw Dalo actually come out with a quote there saying that this team is capable of winning the league under Amoram. I mean, he followed that up very, very quickly by saying, but the hardest part is telling the fans that it's going to take time. It's like, well, lad, I could have said that. I don't know why he's kind of coming out with these things when we're 14th in the league and can't string 2 wins together.
that's the current situation at Manchester United right now. It's just the mentality of the players is so poor. It's all they like to do is just talk instead of just put performances out there on the football pitch. It's just I'm tired of it. Until I can see it on the football pitch, I don't have time to hear all the comments no more. It's just put some performances out there on the football pitch, man. Honestly,
I know. I can't agree more. I mean, it's just like, it's so tiresome at this stage. Like, it's as if, Lissandro Martinez, I just think back to that Liverpool post-match press conference where he's like pointing to his head talking about there's been a mentality switch in the team. You're just like, there hasn't been. Like, it's clear as day that there hasn't been. So, like, it's like play acting, or are they trying to convince themselves that something has changed?
it's like one step forward and then another 8 step backwards. It's just that's how it feels like watching Man United players. That one game, you're like, oh, okay, cool, maybe we can kick on from this, and then you watch the next week, and it's just like, where was the team that just played last week? You guys just, went and got a result against Liverpool. You went and got a result against City. You went and got this is not the same team that I just watched play against. It's just I don't know. I can't explain it. I have to to be able to read minds or something. Just explain the reason why they like this, but I
I know.
honestly don't get it.
I know, mad stuff. And I was seeing a few rumors as well about who they're kind of eyeing up in the summer transfer window. And there was things going around that they're looking for players on a free as well. People that are running down their contracts, like floating out names like Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Leroy Sané. And I was like, here, like the game's gone. As I say, the club's gone. Like, what's the point? Like, because are we just going to settle for mediocrity? And what are the owners thinking? Like,
I don't know. I thought new ownership. It was looking good. I was thinking, yeah, like you got people that care about the club, that they care about the football side of the club, and it just looks like we've got Glazers 2.0. Like they they don't look like they're willing to spend any money. They don't look like they're willing to invest anything and help and back the manager. We're in January and we've got a new manager not too long ago, a couple months ago, and we're already hearing stuff about trying to back the new manager with giving him free transfers. What's that about? That's just that can't run.
Yeah, it somehow doesn't surprise me with the way that they've been managing so far, with hiring and firing people and kind of getting players off the books and stuff. But yeah, it's been pretty painful. But anyway, we'll take a quick break here. We will be back we'll discuss a bit about the Leicester game at the weekend, some of the tactical side of it, and I'll be back for a bit more analysis after this.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
So like we mentioned at the start, a late Harry Maguire winner offside got us the victory in the FA Cup. Just looking through some of the stats there, I suppose, for the Tactics Tuesday that it is today. So 13 shots United have versus 6 shots from Leicester, 4 on target for United, 3 on target for Leicester, 56% possession for United, 44% for Leicester. We've got a bit more passes, similar pass accuracy. Yeah, I mean, we can look at all the stats we want, but the eye test doesn't lie with United, and it's just so difficult to get a decent performance out of them. It's just so strange. It's like it's the only team you watch, and you're like, they're just lacking in quality.
That's literally it. Even the teams in the lower down on the table, you can still see like quality here. There's still quality players like the Southampton who's bottom of the league. You see quality in Tyler Diblins and these and Sulemanes, the Leicesters when they played against us. You can see the qualities in the El Canuses and that. And there's players there that have quality. But when I watch United, there's players that are meant to have quality, and it just doesn't
Mm.
look like they have. It's so poor every time, and it's just I say the same thing every single time. If Ahmad has a bad game, Man, you are having a bad game because it's just
Yeah.
like nothing gets created if Aman and Bruno don't turn up that day. Like it's so bad. It's well so reliant on two people that it's just like I don't get it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm not always too fond on him. But Garnacho, when he did come on during the Leicester game, he did kind of flip the switch and he did help
Yeah.
switch the game around. I think he definitely brought some intensity that was lacking on the team. Like somebody that was willing to run at defenders that we I don't know. I just sometimes. I, I, I want to get behind the manager, but sometimes I'm looking at some of the decisions he's making. We signed a left wing back. I mean, you don't play him left wing back in his first game, and I think even at that, he was still very, direct. He was getting the ball driving at defenders, and I did like what he was offering. But and then you take him off at half time when he was probably our most direct player at half. I don't know. I do question the decisions that he makes sometimes, but at the end of the day, he got the win, and I'm not the manager, so I can only say what I can say as a fan.
Well, we want your opinion, so that's what we want. But yeah, a few interesting calls there. I mean, let's break it down. First of all, the Garnacho one, like he does bring a bit of a spark to the team. You can't really deny that. Still not sure, not convinced about his output and his consistency, and you don't really know what's going to happen when he does get it. But he seems to have found a bit of a new lease of life anyway after kind of being left out of the squad a few months ago. Seems to be kind of taking it a bit more seriously anyway and running harder and being very direct, I suppose, against fullbacks. But I still think he kind of hugs that touchline a bit much for the system that he's actually trying to play. But yeah, and then Dargu, I mean, I get what he's doing with having the wing backs as being inverted and maybe having that kind of attack profile, but like on his first game, like play him in his position and also
Honestly.
taking him off at halftime is madness. Like, I mean, he was super direct.
That's what I'm saying. I just didn't get it. I thought, we've been complaining for weeks upon weeks that
Yeah,
Dalo just doesn't look comfortable playing on the left side, and maybe we would actually get to see Dalo play on his normal side on the right side, and Dorgu will play on the left, and hopefully it will look a little bit better. But I don't know. I think he is very persistent in playing these fullbacks with a left-sided fullback. I mean, a left-footed fullback on the right side, and a
yeah,
right-footed fullback on the other side. And I was just like, sometimes just even if you don't want to switch your formation or like you don't want, sometimes you do need to give up some things in your in your tactics. That's just work with the players around you, work with what you have
yeah,
around you. Some people can't. I feel like Dalot can't do this thing where what you want out of him. Maybe just play him on his best side on the right side. When he won Player of the Season for Man United, he was playing on the right side. So just try and like work on and get accustomed to the people that you have around you. But I don't know. I think he's very persistent in his style, and his style must work. And I don't know. It might later down the line we might not. We might it might affect him.
definitely. You could see it backfiring. And I really wanted to work for him, and then but there's only so far where there's the reality is sitting right in front of you in terms of you need to get results at the moment. He said when the time that he took over that we either fix this now or we wait another year and we're in the same position again next year where we're just kind of fighting for actually getting results but not implementing a system or anything. But it's been like 15 games or whatever, and the players still can't play. Like especially the wing backs. Like I mean, Mazraoui's not a wing back. He's a good back three. Dalo is way more comfortable on the right hand side. Like you'd be a lot more confident with Dalo playing right wing back and Dorgu left wing back. Like that would be interesting to see. Another one I wanted to chat about was the movement of Bruno back into the two midfields. He's kind of been playing alongside Ugarte over the last number of games now, and Menu's kind of played into more of a 10 role. Um, I kind of was in favour of Bruno moving back. I think he naturally drifts back there anyway. And I kind of like him playing a bit deeper so he actually can play those passes, and he doesn't really suit the number 10s, I don't think, anyway. But do you think it's working based off the games you've watched?
Again, with him, like I said, if he doesn't have a good game, it's not going to look great because
Yeah.
that's the type of player Bruno is. He's very high
Yeah.
risk, high reward. And if he doesn't, if it's not looking nice, if it's not working, it's going to look awful. And that's the thing about Bruno. That's why a lot of fans don't like him, because when it doesn't look
When
good,
it's bad, it's bad.
it
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
really bad. But when it looks good, it looks amazing. So I am a fan of him playing in that deeper role because one, he works hard. He does like to work. He's gonna run his socks off. And I think Kobe is better, probably a bit up further up the pitch when in those tighter spaces, and he does kind of suit that 10 position a bit more than Bruno does, because Bruno, he's not the most technical or most gifted at beating players or
Yeah.
dribbling past players, and I think that's what you need in those positions. And I just think, yeah, I think it can work, and when it does work, it looks great. But I just feel like we do need to get the right people around Bruno in that midfield as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think Ugarte is the answer. I'm
Yeah,
still not convinced. I haven't seen anything to change my mind on that. The Manu one's interesting. I really wanted to work for him. I just don't know where to play him. Like, I think he's effective in the number 10, but for us to get to where we want to get to, or back up to the top again, I just don't think that's going to work. In terms of output, but then maybe it would work if we had better players around him and stuff like
I feel
that.
like that's probably the main issue. It's
Yeah.
the level of ability around that. I think Ahmad in the 10. It's nice in hindsight. I mean, on paper it looks nice. However, I feel like he is just a better wing back because of
Mm,
just the way he's able to receive the ball. I think he's able to receive the ball on the front foot and able to drive at players, because that's what Ahmad's strengths are, and it
yeah.
pushes Man United further up the pitch. Whereas if he's playing in the 10, he's having to receive the ball on the back foot. He's got his back towards goal, and it's a bit harder for him to turn and like beat players and all that stuff. If you play Ahmad and Mainu on the same side, it's two talented players that know how to work with one another. We've seen it work when they've done their little interplays and it's worked and they've scored goals with it. I think they work very well with each other. I think if you play them in that same type of channel together, you're gonna see a very talented bunch of players. And I think on the left side, we just need to find a player that can offer us stuff. And like Garnacho, who's a bit got more speed, and he was also good in working in these 10 spots. And we just need a striker at the end of the day. These two. I say it every time I'm on here. These two, they're not good enough, unfortunately. I like what Xerxes brought in the game. I think he definitely did change the game a little bit as well with Garnacho. However, they're just not good enough, unfortunately.
The
The
thing
other
is,
point,
when you're looking around at the other teams in the center forwards they have, like, it's night and day. Like, and like, you really want them to do well, but at the end of the day, it's not a charity. Like, you can't be just like, oh, I hope it goes well for them today. It's like,
yeah,
you swap one in, they do awful. The other one comes on, plays well for 30 minutes, and then it's just rotating every week. One of them starts, one of them comes on,
that's
and
what it
it's,
is. They're
yeah,
both bench strikers. They're both strikers that they can get an impact off the bench. They're not starting Premier League strikers. Neither of them are. I feel like it has to be a position. I know it's not major, and I probably people don't probably see it as major, but it has to be a position that we do look for in the summer. Like we need strength. Like at the end of the day, to be a successful team in any facet
yeah,
of football, you need to have a number 9 that's very good. Like every single team we see in the world, they have a good number 9. It's like at Newcastle,
it's a given. Like, yeah,
like all these teams that they have good number 9s, all the teams that other than Liverpool, because they're replacing that the ability of not having a great number 9 with, obviously you have somebody like Salah that's just going to
Salah,
do something insane, and Arsenal as well. Like you have somebody like Saka who's just going to give you a lot of goals and assists regardless. We don't even have that. We don't have a player that's going to just give us a lot of goals and assists. So we need a good number 9, unfortunately.
yeah. Definitely one of the areas we need to look at. I mean, like you said, it probably wouldn't be the first one that jumps to mind for people, but like, it's so it's so needed. It's unbelievable when you look at the team. Like, you're wondering where the goals are coming from, and like you said, if Ahmad has a bad game, they're not coming from anywhere. Which is
Yeah,
like, if you said that at the start of the season that we're relying on Ahmad, you'd be like, what is going on here? Okay, he wasn't even barely a starter at the start of the season, so, or even 2 months ago, he's barely a starter. Ten Hag never played him much, but
yeah.
Anyway, right, we'll take another break here, back with another ad, and then we will finish out this Tactics Tuesday.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
The Global Sports Podcast Network is changing the face of football podcasts. With dedicated daily content for every Premier League team, women's football, fantasy football, and a daily Premier League wrap-up and broadcast in 5 different languages. It's one of your stop shops for your daily football fix. Find GSPN wherever you find your usual podcast.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
So we mentioned the wing backs, the number 10s, the need for a centre forward, Bruno dropping into the deeper of the two midfielders. The back three, is this potentially our strongest area at the moment, somewhere that we probably don't need to look at for the next while, or what are you thinking?
I feel like that's still there's room for improvement everywhere, unfortunately. But yeah, it probably is our
We're
strongest
14th for a reason. We're
out
talking about the back three being good.
out of like, the current positions. It probably is our biggest strength.
Yeah, I'm clutching here. Like, give me something.
I guess it's our biggest strength. I think I like Euro. Euro's been very good since he's come in. I think that Leicester, not Leicester, Southampton game where Sulemana was just on him all game, and
No,
I think,
that needs an investigation. That game was ridiculous. I felt so bad for him. There was
but
nothing he could do.
it happens, and I think he even said he did an interview with Rio Ferdinand where he said he needs a game. He needed a game like that because it kind of
Yeah.
woke him up, saying, yeah, like this is the big leagues. This is even a team like Southampton. You are gonna face a challenge like a Suleiman or something like that. So he said he needed that. And he said he went back. He's watched the game many times, and I think since then he hasn't put a foot wrong. I think he's been very good in all his performances since then. Maguire, again, a lot of people hate on him, but consistent performer for me every
Solid
single time I
performer.
watch him. He's always consistent. And again, I'm not too fond of the licks, but he does look all right when he does play for us. And I think, obviously, with the injury to Lissandro
Yeah.
now, that is probably going to have to be our strongest back three going forward. Obviously, we haven't seen much of Lindelof. I don't know how he still plays for us, honestly.
He's still there. He's
We've
still
got the
there.
new signing Haven as well, he probably didn't expect to play this much football now. Now with the Lissandro injury, he's probably gonna have to be, someone that's gonna be on the bench and that. So it's gonna we're gonna see. With a lot of games coming up, we're gonna see how it shapes out.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm kind of going through the team, when you're picking a team that's going to maybe start at the weekend, it probably is the area that I'm most comfortable with. I think the back three is giving Maguire a new lease of life. I spoke on an episode late last week, kind of a preview of the Leicester game, where I spoke about players that have played for both Leicester and United, and for all the kind of hate that Maguire's got, like as you said, he's been really consistent and he's bounced back really well as well, because he has had some really like kind of dark days at United in terms of some performances, but for him still to kind of always come back, get back into the England squad, get back into featuring prominently for United, it's a credit to him, and that's kind of the attitude and the professionalism that you kind of need at the club, because like you see stuff like Sancho commenting away on posts from Rashford and stuff like, and
Honestly, I didn't want to bring it up.
it's
I
so
didn't want to
hateful.
bring it up, but
Yeah,
he actually. Nowadays, anything that guy does, he can't infuriate me no more. Like I saw it yesterday, and I just laughed because it's just funny because he's just a funny individual. He's just his lack of professionalism as a footballer. It's just funny to laugh at nowadays. But back in the days, if I saw that maybe a year ago, honestly, I would be livid because he's a joke.
yeah.
He's actually a joke. This is somebody at an organization that gave you 3 months off football to go work on yourself, get your mental state back together, and you're posting stuff like freedom and you've been free. You're not performing well at this new side that you're at as well. It's not
I
like you're
know.
putting up worldy performances as well. It's
No,
honestly,
he honestly he'll be out of a job. I'd say he'll be out of a job in about 18 months, to be honest. Like, because if you look at clips from before United signed him when he was in the England squad, like physically he looks totally different. Like he's actually fast now. He's lethargic and very predictable, and he's actually producing nothing for Chelsea. Like but I'm not surprised because you can't just turn it on. It doesn't work like that.
Literally.
Everyone catches up, So
literally.
But anyway, I don't know how we ended up on that. What was I talking about? I mean,
Maguire's
I mentioned
professionalism.
about Maguire's professionalism. Ended up going on a rant about a former left winger, but yeah, I don't know. It is an area where you're like, okay, maybe we have a bit of stability there. Yeah, like you said, De Ligt. I mean, De Ligt 5 years ago, you would have been like, oh yes, brilliant, but he's extremely rash. Concerns me as a centre half. Flying out of position the whole time.
Yeah, it's too rash.
And I mean, I think Yaro's actually excellent. Like, I'm very happy with him. Martinez, hot and cold. Mazraoui, I'm quite comfortable with as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but he's been like, in terms of coming into an absolute storm this year for United, like he's been excellent. Like, how can you, like, the level of consistency from him has been unbelievable considering the whole thing's fallen down around him.
Yeah. I've got to tip my hat to him because at the end of the day, it is a hard situation to be in playing in such a hectic football club. So I've got to tip my hat to him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right. So yeah, that wraps up Tactics Tuesday for today. We spoke a bit about the Leicester game at the weekend, how probably didn't deserve that win either. Same old story. And yeah, did a bit of an update on how we think our personnel in different positions are going. And yeah, a lot still to be decided, I think. A lot of it will depend on how we finish this season, maybe with a couple of trophies, maybe trophyless and in the bottom half of the table. And then it's big moves time in the summer. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, Dan, thanks very much for joining me. And I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, have a good day.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.